This is the Core 2 video for our practice test for quadratic functions, equations, and expressions. This will be the first three problems. I'm going to kind of give you just a brief introduction to the problem, let you work on it for a minute, then I'll show you the solution. All right? So first of all, question number 1 says, multiply the binomials. When we multiply the binomials, we either use FOIL or the area model. So take a quick minute on that, pause the video, see if you can multiply those two binomials. And you'll notice it's an expression, there's no equation, it's not an equal sign, so you just multiply. Okay, now that you've restarted the video, having worked this problem, let me quickly show you the solution. I like to use the area model. Helps me think through the problem rather than just remembering the steps. I think through the problem. So I say x minus 2 is one side, x plus 9 is the other side, and I calculate the area of each individual square, each individual rectangle. Although the first one is a square because it's x by x. I don't know about this one because I don't know what x is. I know it's 9 times x. I don't know if x is 9 or not, though. I don't know if it's a square or a rectangle, so I'll call it a rectangle. Negative 2 times x, negative 2x, negative 2 times 9 gives me negative 18. So I can say this is the same as x squared plus 9x minus 2x minus 18. I combine like terms, x squared plus 7x minus 18. Problem number 2. Take a look at that. Find the solutions to the quadratic equation by square rooting. So on this one, we have to get x by itself. We're looking for x. Okay? So just like you solve a one-step equation, two-step equations, you need to do things to get x by itself. Okay? Take a quick look at that. See, you can do a lot of that. Even if you can't get to the final answer, I know you can do most of it. So try it and come back and check your answer. Okay, now that you've restarted the video, to get x by itself, first of all, I'm going to get x squared by itself. I can't do anything until I do that. So I have plus 32 plus 32. That gives me 0 here. So I just have 3x squared equals 432. Next thing I have to do to get x by itself, get x squared by itself, first of all, I need to divide by that 3. It makes the problem difficult that it's multiplied by 3. X squared is multiplied by 3. If I divide by 3, I just have x squared equals 144. And now that I have x squared, I know that x is the number that multiplies by itself to get 144. I happen to know that number is 12. If you want, you can use the square root function on your calculator. We've seen how to do that. X equals 12 because 12 times 12 equals 144. And that's the answer your calculator will give. But your calculator doesn't know that negative 12 times negative 12 also gives you 144, because a negative times a positive is a negative times a negative is a positive. If I square negative 12, I also get 144. If you want to try that on your calculator, you have to do it this way. You have to say negative 12 squared equals 144. Okay. Your calculator will tell you that equals 144. If you don't put the parentheses, your calculator will square the 12 and make the answer negative. So it will confuse you. Don't do that. Make sure you use the parentheses. This is our answer. X equals 12 or x equals negative 12. Question 3 Find the solutions to the quadratic equation by factoring. When we have factors, when we have two things in parentheses, we can say that that is either of those is equal to 0. When we have it equal to 0, one of the things we multiply has to equal to 0. So you're looking for something like that. Pause the video really quickly. See if you can figure out how to find the solutions. X values that make this equal to 0. That's what solutions mean. All right, now that you've worked the problem and restarted the video, let me see. Let's check and see if you get the same answer that I did. I'm going to start off with the area model, because I know if I have this form, I could use the area model to get the standard form. And if I did that, I'd end up with x squared here and negative 35 here. Kind of a challenge now. First of all, I know I have x and x, because that's the only way to get x squared. But I have options here. I have different options for the two numbers. And I'm going to start a table because I have to look at different options. I have to check different options. Product and sum. If I think back to my area model, I will actually add these two numbers to get 2x. And I multiply the two numbers to get negative 35. So I need negative 35 for my product. Product is what I get when I multiply. I need positive 2 when I add. Sum is what I get when I add. So I'll start with my factors. Things that multiply to give me negative 35. I try negative 1 and 35. Negative 1 times 35 is in fact negative 35. But when I add negative 1 plus 35, I get 34. I don't get 2. So this one won't work. I'm not going to put an X there. I was just saying that that doesn't work, but I don't want to confuse you with an X. I'll say that one doesn't work. I try something else. The only other thing I can think of is 5 times negative 7. 5 times 7 gives me 35. 5 times negative 7 gives me negative 35. To get negative 35, I need one of them to be negative. And when I add them, 5 minus 7 gives me negative 2 because the 7 is bigger than the 5. That doesn't work either. I didn't want negative 2, I wanted positive 2. Well, that's a good clue. That tells me negative 5 times positive 7, which also gives me negative 35, will give me positive 2. 7 minus 5 is positive 2. So I know I need negative 5 and 7. And I put those in. X minus 5, x plus 7. Now that I have it in factored form, I use the zero product property. If I multiply and my answer is 0, then either x minus 5 has to equal 0 or x plus 7 has to equal 0. Add 5 to both sides. 5 equals x, or subtract 7 from both sides. X equals negative 7. Okay. Good. Check out the video now for questions 4 through 6. Questions 4 through 6 use the graph. So check that video out.